Well, hello, and how are you doing on this hot, sweaty Monday evening? It's very warm in Canada's capital, although it has cooled down a little bit from earlier today. It's only 21 degrees Celsius right now. It was 25 earlier. It was 30 yesterday, and it's going to be, I think, 30 every day for the rest of the week, starting tomorrow. So the summer weather has arrived in Canada's capital. I guess it was a holiday. It was Memorial Day in the U.S. today. We had our Victoria Day last weekend, so last Monday was the holiday here. And it's traditional to have that holiday in the third or fourth week of May. It's usually the third week in Canada because it's traditionally, well, May 24th is Queen Victoria's birthday, so that's when it took place. So I have been suffering horribly the last couple of days. Can probably see it in my face. My eyes are quite swollen and puffy, itchy and watery. And the rosacea, along with just general dryness and highly allergic skin is happening to me right now. Hives, just the glorious things that happen at this time of the year when the warm spring weather first arrives. Or summer weather, I guess, even though technically it is still spring. Sorry, I just had a comment here from someone. Well, I am admittedly not feeling the best right now, emotionally, physically, and mentally, all due to the onslaught of pollen and how it affects my heart, mind, soul, body, skin, you name it. It's a rather difficult time of the year. But, you soldier on through because that's all you can really ever do. But that being said, mental health does get dramatically affected by this kind of weather, and it's complicated because it was a beautiful sunny day. The sun just set here a few minutes ago, so it's just barely dusk right now. But it was a beautiful sunny day, and here's the thing. Yesterday I was out for about an hour. 30 degrees, hot, sunny, the kind of weather I love. And oddly enough, there was virtually no humidity. It was only at about 23%, which is remarkably low for Canada's capital because it's a very humid city most of the year, which is why it can be so blisteringly cold in the winter and so unbelievably hot in the summer. So yesterday it was 30 degrees with no Humidex rating because the humidity was only 23%, and I went out for 1 hour. And I had to come back in because I was just suffering so horribly. And all it does is just make you want to lie in bed because you feel like, although I'm not congested, a little bit of sinus pain, but nothing horrible. But more than anything else, it's the itchy, puffy, watery eyes that you want to tear them out of your head and peel your skin off. I don't recommend doing that. Please don't do that. I beg of you not to do that. But that is what it feels like when you're suffering from severe seasonal allergies. And even though I'm on allergy medication, it doesn't do everything. It does a great deal. It helps a lot. Admittedly, I'm not congested, so there's no major sinus issues. However, not sleeping well as a result. And when you physically don't feel good because of the environment, it can affect your mental status as well. Kind of drive you into a depressive zone or an anxious zone. Myself, mostly anxious, mostly anxiety because I'm just not sleeping enough. And when I don't get enough sleep, that's when the anxiety comes creeping in. And that's, kind of what I've been feeling the last few days. Saturday, I had a 4-hour live show to contribute to and produce, and I was this close, literally this close to backing out at the last second because my anxiety was, telling me it was going to be terrible. It was going to be a failure. It was going to suck. It was going to be all the things that in your anxiety can tell you that, all of which are lies, of course. But I decided that I would not listen to that beast, that fickle beast that is anxiety, and I would tell it to go away while I went about my day, set up. We did our live stream. We did the show. It went quite well. We had a few technical glitches and difficulties, but that was Wi-Fi related. That's nothing to do with myself or my equipment or any of my production or technical skills. So, I didn't get the least bit bent out of shape about it. I just went, oh, the Wi-Fi is not working very well right now. We'll just be offline for a few minutes. That's all it was. You can't get upset about things you can't control, even though sometimes it does happen. Try not to. I try and talk myself down off the ledge, as the saying goes, when I'm thinking I'm going to throw all this equipment in the garbage because it's not working. When it's a silly reaction, but I've felt like that on more than one occasion. And like I said, it's always due to, in my case, almost always, I should say, almost always due to lack of sleep. Just pure mental exhaustion. Insomnia. It's when the anxiety kicks in. And yeah, so that's how I've been feeling the last few days. I haven't really had any depression as of late, which I have to admit is quite wonderful, because I don't know how I'd be able to cope with that right now if that was to rear its ugly head while I'm feeling like I'm suffering. So, physically, that is. Physical suffering, then add emotional suffering to it with depression would not be a good combination. It would be a bad combination, and one that I really don't care for. There you go. Sometimes that's just how things roll, So yeah, I started a little 30 minutes early tonight because I honestly prefer to do it at 9 p.m. if I can, but there are other people on the network, so I've had to reserve 9:30 for a little while. But this evening started at 9 p.m. because I have a 9:30 political show I'm producing and contributing to immediately after this, which has to do with the election coverage in the province of Alberta. So that's why we're started early tonight. I'll be back next week, possibly at 9:30. I haven't quite checked the schedule yet, because it is a new month starting Thursday. Thursday is the 1st, isn't it? Yes, this is the 29th. 30th is Tuesday, 31st is Wednesday. Yes, the 1st is Thursday. I had to think about that. Just see scheduling here. You know what? I get caught up in things sometimes, and I don't pay enough attention, I guess, is it? See the June schedule. Yes, nothing. It would be 9:30 next week. 9:30. I'll have to schedule everything else. I can do that later. So yeah, next Monday at 9:30. Back at the 9:30 time slot. But today, as I start a little bit early, before I have a very long night ahead of me, thought I'd try and give you some wisdom. Well, I would much prefer 9, Stephen, if I could, but it's just the way the network works out. There are other people on the network that have the time slot booked in advance. I could do it on a separate network, it's lesser platforms, because right now this is streaming on 8 different platforms, and the idea behind that is to reach as many people as possible. But I could do it at 9 on a separate network. It just wouldn't be able to reach as many people. Then again, I guess we could probably steer people towards the YouTube channel. I mean, after all, I'm doing this because I wish to help as many people as possible. And I've said it time and time again, no matter your religious belief, your political stripe, or your political beliefs, you're welcome here. The only rule is when you come here, we talk about our mental health and what's affecting us. We don't talk politics or religion. We don't talk about those things. And it's because this is meant to be a zone where we can discuss mental health and how we can cope and how we can collectively help each other out by supporting one another in the chat. Letting each of us know that no matter your walk of life or where you're from, the color of your skin, your religious or political belief, we are all affected by mental health. You can't tell me that you know somebody who hasn't had a mental health challenge. A friend, a family member, a coworker, a colleague, a lover, a cousin, a relative. You know somebody somewhere that has faced a mental health issue or perhaps a crisis at some time. That's something I need you to understand too. I've had a few people that I've talked to that have come here to watch this so they could figure out how to help friends and family members who suffer from depression and anxiety. And I didn't fully realize at the time that, well, yes, of course, I'm telling you what we're going through, so that would certainly give you perhaps a better understanding of what I'm going through, which means that, your friend or relative, colleague, whomever is in your circle that is facing a mental health challenge, well, maybe you have a little bit more knowledge now that if you've watched this and taken part in the chat, you can see that, mental health has a million faces. Anxiety and depression have a million faces. And it's most likely that somebody at some point in time will be affected by it. Perhaps even you. Maybe you came here originally because you were. Maybe you're here now because you're doing much better, but you want to learn of other ways to cope and perhaps little tidbits and secrets, and I don't know if you'd call them secrets, but issues that you may have. My phone is ringing, but I can't answer it right now because we're busy. Well, thank you, Andrew. I'm glad you enjoyed. What was I going to say? I almost lost my train of thought because my phone started to ring. Or vibrate, I guess, because the ringer's turned off. But yeah, I've had friends who have reached out and told me, that a son, a daughter, a cousin, a relative, a coworker had been experiencing mental health issues, saw this and suggested it to them, and they've told me that it's been helpful to them. And that makes me feel good because that's why I'm here, is to try and help as many people as I can. Again, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I have no medical degree or psychological degree in any way, shape, or form. I'm a technician. I'm an audio-video guy. But I have 43 years of dealing with anxiety and depression, and several of those decades I hid it from people. I only revealed my anxiety about 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember how long. That was more troublesome to me to reveal than it was my depression. I tried talking about my depression in the 90s, but nobody wanted to hear it back then. They just told me I should be happy because I had a good life and a good job. And I tried to explain to them that's not how it works. Different times have changed, thank goodness. The stigma is gone for the most part. And it's enabled me to be able to openly discuss what I feel and go through in this forum. And because of that, it's helped me a great deal, and I know I've helped a few people along the way. How many, I have no idea, but I've had a few people reach out to me and say, thank you, we really appreciate your meager efforts, and I put the meager in. Nobody else has ever said that to me. I added that because that's just how I remain humble, or try to remain humble anyway. Sorry, I have to just respond to a text. My apologies. I have other people trying to reach me for the next show. There, message sent. So, trying to cope with depression, trying to muscle through anxiety and depression sometimes can be incredibly difficult and feel like a solo trek. And the thing is, anxiety is much more difficult to talk about than depression is, at least for me personally. I see a photo on my Google Home Hub, and it shows a picture I shot last year at the Jazz Fest, which I'll be attending soon enough. It starts in a couple of weeks. And looking at that photo reminds me of the incredible anxiety I was going through at the time. I only went to 2 shows last year, and the one show I went to, I had a difficult time trying to enjoy it because I was an emotional wreck. By the following week, the second show I went to, I was in much better shape. I was able to fully enjoy the show, have a couple of drinks, relax, and just let the music flow. But the prior week, I was not doing well, and I was trying to do everything I could to be meditative and do the breathing exercises and, try and hide from the world the fact that I was in a public place having a full anxiety attack. So I sat down by the fountain and listened to the water and tried to center and calm myself. I wasn't really able to do that. By the time the night ended, I went home and did as much exercise as I could to try and quell that anxious demon. I couldn't do it. And I had a sleepless night. It was a Saturday, so it wasn't like I had to be up early on the Sunday, so I was able to recover the following day, but it really did eat up my entire weekend because I'd stayed in bed most of the day on the Saturday until I went to the show, and I almost didn't go, but I thought, these are 2 artists I really wish to see. I've paid for them. I have to go. So I forced myself to do it, and I'm glad I went. But it wasn't a great experience because the entire time it was just... It was terrible. The entire time is what it was. Vibrating inside, just shaking uncontrollably, internally. Nobody can see this because I'm very good at masking it. That demon just telling you that, all the terrible things it tells you. I don't want to repeat them right now because I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge because I'm exhausted and I'm battling the allergies at the moment, which really do kick my butt. So, yeah, that's where I am today. Suffering, but muscling on through. And this time next week, this beard will be greatly reduced. I'm going to be removing it over the course of a few days. Each day it'll be a different style, and each style will be done in somebody's name as they donate money to a local women's shelter that I like to support. So if anybody's interested, I will put it up on my Twitter, and I'll put links in the YouTube channel if anybody wants to donate to a local charity. Do not feel compelled. You do not have to do it. I'm just trying to help a few people out. If you can contribute, great. If not, no worries. I don't see any of the money. I give you a direct link to the charity to send the money to if you wish to donate. And then we'll just, it's kind of like whoever wishes to donate, it'll be like $100 and I'll shave this and just have a big goatee for a couple of days sort of thing. And you just make the donation to the charitable fund. Cornerstone Housing for Women is the charity I've chosen. I've been trying to raise money for them for a couple of years now, for multiple reasons. None that directly involve me or anyone that I know that's needed to use the shelter. But It's a local women's shelter, and I think they do good work, and I want to help them out. So I guess that was kind of a shameless plug. Shameless? I don't know. Charitable plug? I don't know if that's a terrible thing, if you may frown upon that. Some people do, some people don't. But trying to make the world a little better place, one little step at a time, right? Everything is done incrementally. It's the old saying, how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. This is how we fix the world. One person at a time. Trying to help one person who helps another person. And there's a commercial from the 70s that would go and so on and so on. And if you're old enough, you might recognize it. It was duplicated in one of the Wayne's World films. I think it was the first Wayne's World, actually, where they did that ad because Mike Myers kind of grew up with that ad like I did. Anyway, I'm beginning to babble here, and I'm getting tired, and I do need a few minutes before the next production I have to put together. So I will bid you adieu a couple minutes early. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for coming here and listening to me ramble on. Hopefully this has helped you in some way. Hopefully you've been able to take something from it, whether it be the tone of my voice and the words that I choose, or just simply the words. If you know anybody who suffers from anxiety and or depression, or just is having a tough time and needs a support group, but would prefer to be somewhat anonymous, feel free to show them this YouTube page. I'm here to help as much as I can in the only way I know how, by talking about what I've gone through, what I go through, and how I get through. And I hope it helps you too. So I will we'll get ready to pack it up for this evening, because I do need 5 minutes to prep for the next show, which is on a separate channel. It's not on this channel, because this is never political, this show. Never. This is for those who need it, no matter your political strike, your religious belief. It doesn't matter. You're here. You're welcome here if you are suffering from mental health issues. You're welcome to come in here, talk about it in the chat, or just listen to me ramble on, as I often do. Okay. I will bid you adieu, and I will see you next week at this time, 9:30 next week. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.